Ladies and gentlemen, if I had one superpower where I could snap my fingers and make anything true, it would be that everyone, every time, would have an accurate assessment of whether or not they were safe. Think about it. That could be a real game changer. Safety is so important to the human spirit. It's how we're able to function at peak performance for long periods of time. Sure, fear and anxiety help us get through tough situations, muscle through, but safety is key. And when we don't have it, we lash out, we fight, we hide, we isolate. We can never feel truly restful. And what is anxiety if not a sense of fear that's not based in reality? If anxiety were real, it wouldn't be called anxiety. It would just be a normal response to something bad or sad happening. And yet, 1/3 of US adults reported symptoms of anxiety or depression in last year's Household Pulse survey. That's almost 107 million people. These are people that have convinced themselves, for a variety and unique to them reasons, that they are in constant danger. And I assure you, if 107 million people were in constant danger, we would know. This phenomenon of widespread anxiety and depression started in the year 2007. Does anyone know what else might have happened in the year 2007? A Gen Xer named Steve Jobs gave us the iPhone. 3 years before that, a millennial named Mark Zuckerberg gave us Facebook. So as of 2007, we have had social media in the palm of our hand, with us everywhere that we go. And ever since 2007, the rate of depression has increased and continues to increase. The way that our brain works is it believes anything that it can see, touch, and feel. And that makes complete sense in a physical world. Perfect sense. But in a digital world, wires get a little bit crossed. We, in short, believe what we see. So when we see our friend taking overseas trips and a glamorous lifestyle, we feel intense envy. Because we don't see the 3 a.m. fights or their own crippling depression. We get enraged over the injustices happening everywhere, it seems, around the world, even though the rate of those injustices has declined as time goes on. Doesn't seem like that, though, because it's always in our face. People who watch the news more are likely to grossly overestimate the rate of crime in their area compared to the actual numbers. Discerning between what is real and what is not is going to be one of the largest challenges modern generations face, especially with the implementation of AI. In other words, reality versus perception. So far, we're not doing so good. So far, we're using all this information and disinformation at our fingertips to give ourselves record high levels of anxiety and depression. But there is good news. I am an eternal optimist, therefore I choose to see the happy path. And the truth of the matter is, we have a lot of control over our perception, and our perception creates our reality. And in a world where we have a singular point of view, our reality is really the only one that matters when you think about it like that. So once you know a little bit more about the influences, the inputs, and the context, which you all do now just from listening to this very short speech, you can choose what you consume, what goes into your perspective. You can choose once you consume it, how do you integrate that into your worldview, and what story do you tell yourself? You have control over all of those things. You can take regular reality checks, grounding yourself in the present physical moment and looking around, seeing what your life is actually like. It's probably pretty good. And if it's not, the things that are happening are within your scope of control and influence, which cannot be said for the things happening 600, 1,200, 8,000 miles away. So as far as my superpower goes, I do kind of believe it's possible to help people find out how safe they really are in any given situation. I wrote a book about it. It'll be out this summer. Will not be the last time you hear about that. But until then, I invite you to take regular reality checks. Ground yourself in the present physical moment as often as you can, and be a little bit discerning about what is influencing your perception, which creates your reality.